Hey guys, this isn't going to be a tutorial. I wanted to talk about pregnancy and childbirth and everything else in between, basically. No one explains to you how difficult bearing a child could be emotionally. I mean, I can seriously understand why so many women go through postpartum depression, especially if they don't have a supportive partner. When we got pregnant, of course, I was ecstatic. I was over the moon happy. It's such a blessing. I prayed to God every day and thanked Him for our baby. But as it progressed, as the pregnancy progressed, you just go through so many changes. There were days when I would just start crying, all day, nonstop. I would just cry and cry and cry, and I would be laughing because I thought I was seriously going insane. You go through a lot of emotional changes. My pregnancy went so great. I hardly had any morning sickness. Then towards the middle, 4 to 6.5 months, those are the glory days. You feel great. You have a ton of energy. You want to take on the world. You want to go partying. You want to look beautiful. You just have that oomph in you. Honey, when that 7th to 9th month comes rolling along, you get to a point where you're just F the world. At least for me, it was like that. I only gained about 16 pounds throughout my pregnancy, but I was a pretty big girl. Before that, I'm still considered plus size now, even though I'm substantially smaller than I was prior to getting pregnant. But, it was just your body hurts and your legs hurt. And in the beginning, you're tired, you're sleepy. In the ending, you're just tired. For some reason, no matter how much you sleep, you never feel refreshed. You never feel like it's enough. So let's talk about labor and etc. Well, personally for me. So, towards the 37th, 38th week, my doctor would do the thinning of the mucus and etc., 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 trying to get me to open up. Come rolling around 39 weeks, I'm still a centimeter open, 90% effaced. That's the most effaced you're going to get. Effaced just means the thinning out of the cervix, and how soft the cervix is to allow for birth, basically, to happen. So that took place. And so my 40th week comes along. My estimated due date was supposed to be for September 7th. Check this out. So I go to work September 7th. I'm working all day. I'm feeling fine. I'm whatever. Everybody's why are you here? Today's your due date. Well, obviously I'm here because I haven't had a baby yet. And I don't want to be home doing nothing. So I'd rather just come to work. It's not it's that hard to do. Plus, my job is 15 minutes cab ride from the hospital. So worst case scenario, I just go to the hospital from work. Not a big deal. Okay, well, that night, I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't sleep. For some reason, I just couldn't get comfortable. It's not that I was bothered. I just wasn't falling asleep. I would fall asleep and wake up 20 minutes later or half an hour later, whatever. So I wake up the 8th, Thursday morning, and I'm texting my boss, and I'm I'm not coming into work. I'm exhausted. It's currently 9:30 in the morning. I'm going to take the day to rest because my doctor was discussing inducing me the following day, the 9th at night. So I would give birth the 10th. And so, I was texting my boss. My boyfriend leaves to go to work. I roll over and my water breaks. How lucky am I? I got absolutely no rest whatsoever. So I call my boyfriend. It's 10:15 in the morning. I'm laughing hysterically because I'm just so excited. I'm you gotta come back home. My water just broke. So I'm jumping in the shower. Yes, I jumped into the shower. Took a shower, I took care of the hygiene, shaving, etc. Got out of the shower, I did my hair, I did my makeup. All the while, I'm still leaking amniotic fluid. This is gross. But I wasn't in pain. Your body knows what's going on. So finally I get to the hospital. Apparently it was just a birthday because there was no room for me in labor and delivery triage. There was just no room. So I get to the hospital like around 4. Yes, my water broke at 10:30. I get to the hospital at 4. We park in an area where there is no street cleaning, so we're good for the whole weekend. This is Thursday. We didn't have to move the car till Monday. So I'm like, if I give birth tonight, perfect. I'll be discharged by Monday or Sunday. I'm still thinking I'm going to have a natural birth. But I could see it on my doctor's face that she knew something else was going to happen. So I go to her and I'm like, can I get something to eat? Because I'm hungry and I'm not really in any pain. She's like, sure, just nothing too heavy. Okay. So I go get something to eat, come back up. 8:30 at night is when I'm put into a room. By 10, I was already hooked up to the Pitocin. I had a Foley bulb catheter to try to get me to open because I was not dilating. How wonderful is that? They had me on PIT again because they had to start the contraction so that I would open up. Well, long behold, this baby had another idea. The umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. So with every contraction, her heart rate kept dropping. I didn't want the epidural, but again, I couldn't self-medicate, I couldn't self-soothe because every time I moved, they lost her heart rate. So I had to lay in that bed and I couldn't move. And those contractions, I got the back ones, they never got to the front. They only stood in the back. So if you've seen exorcism movies where the people are contorting backwards, that's what I felt was happening to me. Finally, by 2 o'clock in the morning, they put me on something else, starts with a T, I forgot the name of it, to stop my contractions because they didn't want the baby's heart rate to keep dropping. It was getting to a point where it was a little severe. So my doctor came in and she's like, these are our choices. We could put you back on the PIT so that we can try it again, and then if anything, have to do an emergency C-section because the baby's heart rate dropped too much, or we could just call the OR now and get it taken care of and not put the baby under any more stress. So I looked at her and I said, well, option 2. I really don't want to keep putting my baby under stress. I don't want to be under stress myself, and let's just not prolong it anymore. So I'm thinking the OR turnaround is going to be an hour and a half. So I'm like, great. I'm already medicated. They gave me the epidural for the C-section. So I'm like, wonderful. I'm going to get to sleep. No. I was in the room within 45 minutes. So it took a while for the anesthesiologist to get upstairs and to do all that stuff. So by 4:29, my bouncing baby girl was in this world. And so since September 7th, I haven't gotten a good night's sleep. There were complications, not with the C-section itself, but with the healing. It ended up dehiscing, which is when the wound, instead of being, if this is the wound, this line here would be the wound, this is what happened. So it was closed on the inside, the uterine wall, stomach wall, all of that stuff was closed. But the superficial skin, the fat and the layers of skin, that was all opened. So guess what? I had to be sent home with the visiting nurse service of New York so that they could come and pack my wound, check it, debride it, which is cut off all the dead skin. And boy, I tell you, that hurts like there's no mother. And etc. Finally, within 7 weeks, I want to say, it was just about completely closed up. I had no pain. Let's just put it like that. I had no pain. I didn't hurt. I wasn't sore. I was doing a lot better than most of the other women that had C-sections in the hospital. But that burning sensation when I got home of the nerves reattaching and healing itself essentially, it felt like someone was sticking a hot dagger into me from how bad it was. At the same time, I'm nursing, so it was a constant back and forth with the baby. And on top of it, she was colic. So it was like endless nights. I could barely get up soon enough to get her. So by the time I got her, she was in full-fledged screaming mode. And, you know, it takes a toll. It takes a toll on a person. I gotta tell you, it really, really does. And everyone says it's really hard raising a child. Okay, I get it. It's not impossible. But for me, it was mainly like emotional. It was really taking a toll on me emotionally because I'm an extremely independent person. I was on my own for 6 years, 8 years, and you know, everything was just the way I wanted it. I did what I said when I wanted to do it. I said what I said when I wanted to do it. I, you know, came and went as I pleased. And when you're in a relationship and you go from one extreme to the other, it's very hard. And we rushed into it pretty quickly. You know, we're madly in love, so I don't regret any of it, of course not. But, you know, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, basically, because I'm the type of person where I take everything head on. Go big or go home, essentially. So, but thankfully now, we're finally getting into a rhythm. She's going to be 5 months this weekend. So it's worked out. But, leave comments. You can message me if you want any more, you know, birthing or breastfeeding advice. I have actually been very successful with breastfeeding, and I have found things in my diet and in my daily life that have helped with the pain, because it actually hasn't been that painful. It only hurt for like a week, I think, max, and that's pretty much it. I'm also pumping. I exclusively breastfeed, and I have a friend of mine who, I have to say, my heart goes out to her 100%, because she, even though she doesn't produce enough breast milk to solely be exclusively breastfeeding, she hasn't given up. And I think that is amazing. I think that's so wonderful, because so many women give up. And yeah, it's easy to say, okay, I'll just give them formula and that's fine, which is great, because formula has a lot of vitamins already in it. That's what it's for. It's formulated for babies. That's what it's for. But nothing could ever compare to breast milk. And I think the fact that she's doing both is absolutely amazing. The fact that she hasn't given up and has kept that persistence and perseverance, and you know, she's just like, all right, well, if I'm only giving her such amount a day, then at least I'm giving her that amount a day. And I have to say, shouts to you. Like, I can't. That's amazing. That's really, really good, because I don't know if I would have had that type of determination if I wouldn't have been producing the type of milk that I am producing. So, but I found a lot of tips and tricks, and I used a lot of websites, and I read a lot of books, and I watched a lot of videos, and I took a breastfeeding class at the hospital. Even though I wasn't having any problems, she was latching on beautifully, which is wonderful. But I also took a lot of classes, because you never know. Today they can latch on, and tomorrow they don't want anything to do with your breast. You know, like you really never know. It's so undetermined, like it's not predictable at all. But so I hope this helps you, and if it doesn't, then you know, sorry, basically. But thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.